We begin tonight with America's race for president. Now a sprint to the finish.
Democrats appear on the brink of taking control of the U.S. Senate.
Service removal now available.
Bang, 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 bang. No power in foreign. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Man cooking the pot and freaking light just turn off, dog. You know, I always have my backup. Always have my backup, dog. Always have your backup, people. You dig? You see that? Check how we are bubble it right now. You see it? Jeez. Check light setup. Jeez. Bang, 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 bang. Pot can't done till the pot done, star. What happened? Or the stove over there. Dead. Nothing on it. Lights out. Crazy, bro. See how man just whip it up? Bang, 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 bang.
Nudge and down the snowy hillside it was. Folks from across LA County trekked up to Mount Baldy to enjoy some fresh powder this new year.
Yeah, it was fun because I'm 53 years old and I still want to play.
Just, you know, making the snowmans, having a little sledding, that's about it.
There were plenty of snowmen on deck, carefully crafted by creative minds.
What's his name, Natalie?
Snowflake.
From above, you can see the beautiful snow-capped mountains, a picturesque sight 10,000 feet high in the San Gabriel Mountains. The getaway, a much-needed trip for those who've been in quarantine, and for the most part, everyone was doing their best to have a safe experience.
We've been isolated and quarantined, and so it's good to be out. And social distancing is important. We don't go near anyone.
Everybody's being safe out here. Everybody has their mask on, so everybody's cool right here.
People we spoke with told us it took them about an hour to get from the bottom of Mount Baldy to the top because of the traffic. And as you can see, there is a long line of cars headed out tonight.
This is what happens when you have an 11-year-old who's a very creative little boy. This used to be Baby Yoda. He's not done with it yet, but oh my goodness. I think he's got this little, he did like this whole thing. He's still finished, not done painting it yet. Happy New Year!
It was so fast, and he had his claws out. He hung on there. It's not like he was jumping and jumping away. He was there.
Here is Super Squirrel in action, believed to be the same critter.
And it just basically runs up my leg, and I'm like, okay, squirrel, hello, what are you doing?
That attacked Micheline Frederick.
He either bit me or scratched me on my neck, and then I must have like reached over or do something, and next thing I know, it's an MMA cage match, and I'm losing.
The biting and clawing, her hands were covered with blood, black and blue. As a precaution, she got a rabies shot. That was December 21st here in Rego Park. Micheline warned her neighbor. Then the squirrel pounced on Leisha's back as she walked into her home.
I tried to shake it off, but I can't. You know, squirrel has claws, cling onto your winter jacket. There's no way you can shake it off.
At least 3 other people here on 65th Road and Drive have had similar encounters with either a single rogue squirrel or a pack.
She sped up, it sped up. She crossed the street, it crossed the street.
They've reached out to the city for help, but were told to hire their own licensed trapper, which they did, and hence these. But so far, nothing.
It's worried for the children. That's what most people are concerned about. It's the kids.
People living here are very concerned. They tell me in each case the squirrel or squirrels are the aggressors. People aren't feeding them. They're not chasing them. They're simply minding their own business.
When we have to leave the house, we have to carry Mom's homemade pepper spray to make sure, because if the squirrel comes at us, then we spray it.
Not one single squirrel sighting while we were here, but they're known to be crafty. May have been laying low for now.
It is midnight, January 1st, 2021, in a nice quiet neighborhood in Chicago. I don't know if you can hear that. That's how we celebrate in Chicago. We take our guns outside and we fire them in the air. Very festive. In this neighborhood, there's nobody out. I'm the only one out here. But a couple miles away, you can hear it. This is pretty typical. Every time the Bulls win a championship, 4th of July, oh, there's a neighbor with a pot. So in our neighborhood, this is what they do. They get pots and pans and bang on them. But you can still hear the gunfire in the background. This will go on for about a half hour. There's a neighborhood just south of the downtown area. Downtown is called the Loop, so just south of the Loop is a neighborhood called Pilsen. And in Pilsen, they light up the sky with the gunfire. It gets wild down there. But this is pretty normal. And that's not fireworks, that's guns. So yes, Chicago's an armed city. It's one of the reasons we call it Chirac. Oh, it's ramping up a little bit. Anyway, that's enough of that. It'll go on for a long time. Happy New Year, everybody.
While Canadians have always had a reputation for being nice, the Canadian Ranger is proving why once again. When Lynn Marchessault's family needed to get from Georgia to Alaska and got stranded during a snowstorm on the way, Gary Bath stepped in and drove them over 1,600 kilometers of the journey. And for more, I'm joined by Gary Bath in Fort St. John, BC, and Lynn Marchessault in North Pole, Alaska. It is a pleasure to have the both of you on the show this evening. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good,
All right.
thank you.
All right, good stuff. All right, so Lynn, I want to start at the beginning. Can you tell me why you needed to get from Georgia to Alaska?
My husband is stationed in Alaska with the United States Army.
I was watching Facebook and I saw a post from a friend of mine that was a repost of someone else's post. And I saw that there was a family that needed help, needed someone to drive them to Alaska. And a lot of people were, wanting to donate money or, saying they wish they could help. And nobody was actually able to, get off work or be close enough to go do it. So I talked to my wife and we decided that I would drive her all the way from Pink Mountain to the border.
Now, Gary, I understand you're a ranger. Now, is it just part of the job to help people who are in need?
A little bit, yeah. It's part of what we do is helping our community and helping people and helping each other and just aside from that, it was the right thing to do, I think. Someone needed help, so you help them.
Yeah, you're right. It was a very good thing to do, and a lot of people, I think, would like to, chip in when they see somebody who needs some help. But to drive someone all the way to Alaska, Gary, that's a big ask.
Yeah, it took us 2.5 days. So, for me, it wasn't a big deal. I drive here all the time. So going to Alaska, I love driving. So, hey, what a great way to see some parts of the country I haven't seen even for a few minutes. But, I got to see some amazing sights along the way. And Lynn and I talked and it was a good trip.
And now, SCTV concludes its broadcasting day with an inspirational message. Our speaker tonight, Mr. Mambo.
Good evening. Have you read the newspaper lately? Or watched the news on the TV? This one fighting that one. This one invading the other one. Hostages taking here, terrorists bombing there, hijackings over here, towering infernos everywhere. The world is in a mess. And there's sweet diddly you can do about it. My only advice to you is, when everything gets you down, you get up.